Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tallest Guy, and I am joined with my under-the-weather co-host, Rhianna.
Hello.
I am... Let me just look at this real quick. When you're looking at that, you don't see, like, any, gray bars around the image or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks good to me. Let me check it out. Check it out. I just want to make sure that... Because you can see, like, over here, I have the weird, like, gray outlines, and I think that's just a problem on my end, not anybody else's.
Yeah.
So that's good. So last week, Rhianna and ChatGPT gave me a 10-question interview. It was supposed to be 20 questions, but it was running long, so we're going to just jump right back into that with another set of interview questions. So,
And
you gonna start with our fun one, or our...
Yeah, to let the people know, we have a list of sort of fun, playful ones, and then a list of more sincere ones. We'll start with a fun one. Which character would absolutely dominate in a game of Dungeons and Dragons, and which one would be a total disaster?
In a game of Dungeons and Dragons, and which one would be a total disaster? Alright, so I have an important qualifying question for you here.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about that, are we talking about a character who's playing Dungeons and Dragons, or a character who's in Dungeons and Dragons?
I'm gonna say it's someone playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
So one of the characters being, like, not necessarily their own character within the game. They're just trying to play the game.
Let's see. Someone who would be really good. I mean, I feel like Gaston would be good, right? Like,
that's funny because my answer for who would be a disaster is Lucinda. Because she would derail everything by flirting with every NPC.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm going to try and seduce the dragon. Like,
right.
Totally. I feel like also when she's not looking, she's changing the figurines into
that.
different things because she's got the transformative magic.
She's just distracting everyone and changing like the dice roll.
So for those who don't know, Lucinda was introduced in our book Transformed, and her whole thing is she knows transformation magic. She's very lewd and salacious and everything like that. So, and Gaston is the character who I recommended, who would be like thoughtful and like
strategic.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be interested in learning like the style of everything, and she would just flirt with goblin, flirt with orc.
And I was thinking for my chaotic character, it would have been Bixby, because he'd be like, well, I could just kill that character, he'll come back.
I like that too. Good times. Okay, serious question. Were there any myths, legends, or historical events that directly influence your plot or character arcs?
So, no. So...
Not like a George R.R. Martin where everything's
it
like
wasn't...
a War of the Roses or whatever.
No. I tried not to derive anything from history too much. Most of like where I had liked my fantasy from was fantasy that I had watched and consumed and stuff like that,
right.
Or read. So it wasn't necessarily that I was trying to instill like I with fantasy I wanted to kind of get away from it.
Right.
It wasn't supposed to be low fantasy, it was supposed to be high fantasy, and I feel like...
But you incorporate some myths. I mean, like the Midas legend with the...
I guess gold. That's true. Yeah, I mean, and you figure like a big part of the Tales of Tellest stories is the Fall, which is basically a retelling of, the story of Icarus.
Right.
So yeah, I guess to some point...
Greek mythology sort of plays a bigger role than anything else, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Not real history, but myths for sure.
Yeah, myths and like legends and stuff.
I immediately like you had said with like the George Martin War of the Roses stuff. Right. My brain went to that and completely skipped over the myths and legends.
Right.
I will say like it's a little bit Arthurian. Like you've got like the Knights of Virtue and everything, and they're kind of like the Knights of the Round Table and stuff like that.
You kind of have the Colosseum situation with the gladiatorial events.
Yep.
Obviously, like the subverted myth of the the werewolf.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Werewolves are real.
There's my Icarus. There's him before the Great Fall.
Okay. Playful question. If your protagonist had access to modern technology, what app or device would they become obsessed with?
So, I'll tell you what. I think...
Adelia, maybe, for this prompt, since she was one of the main...
I feel like she would really like Instagram.
She's an Instagram girly.
Absolutely. I mean, so... We know that Adelia has the ability to do transformative magic. She doesn't play with it too much because of what happened in, whatever book. Right. But she does have the ability to, like, change the way that she looks, so it's like, all right, this is my fit today. Like,
I like that.
100% she'd be like, all right, she'd be like you playing Dreamlight Valley. Like,
I know, I do.
I have to change my outfit,
87 times in
not
one
that
setting.
Real people don't do that anyway, but...
I was thinking Pinterest for her.
Pinterest?
Yeah, because I feel like she finds, like, she likes the, one of her tasks really is going out and, like...
Cataloging.
Yeah,
she does so in book 3, like, she exercises more like, ooh, this is a new plant.
Right.
I've
got to learn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to sketch a idea about it. Bixby's a TikTok boy. I feel like his little, like, watch me die would be his...
I'm Bixby Halidocious. Welcome to Jackass.
Basically, I think that would be really funny. What else?
We're trying to figure out other people.
Yeah,
I feel like
other people.
I feel like Luca would be all over like Google Maps or something like that.
Google Maps would be
like,
huge.
oh well, this is definitely where a treasure is. Like, I'm gonna explore that.
Right. If he had access to other technology, I would say he'd love a metal detector.
I'm sad to say that Icarus is obsessed with the weather app.
Well, so is Edwin, because he can, or Edmund, yeah.
Isn't it weird, like, forgetting your own characters' names?
I know. It's been a while since I revisited them, but since he's a weather wizard, he'd be like, this app don't know nothing.
I'll show you.
I'll show you. I like that a lot. Okay, let's see.
Did you lose your place?
I lost it, yeah. Oh, here it is. If you could step into your world, which location would you visit first and why?
I feel like for me, it is tough. I was going to say Adelatha, but I think Chandronar, like, from while it was still airborne, would be, like, absolutely spectacular to see, because, like, if you're at, like, the edge of Chandronar and you're looking out into, like, the seas, like... I don't think that there's probably any other experience than being on solid land, like 10,000 feet up in the air, and just witnessing, like, just pure blue ocean in the horizon, like, for the extent of the horizon. Like, that's got to be a cool experience.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Ever the ground dweller, I would go into Wispus's mansion.
Yeah, it'd be tiny.
But, like, bring string cheese with me, so, like, it'll feed
an unshrunk string cheese.
Like a regular string cheese, just set it on outside.
Takes you, like, 5 minutes to walk from one end of the string cheese to the other.
And just enjoy. I think that, like...
living your best mouse life.
Yep. Here, for those of you who don't know, Wispus created, like, basically a tiny society where, like... He's just like, no thank you, rest of the world. We have a self-sustaining thing here where, like, a grape will feed the entire community, so...
Here's Wispus's little...
Yeah, a little mansion. I'd like
look at this, like, early 90s download.
That's true. Yeah, I think that would be a very fun first place to visit, you know? Ease into things, a little bit more chill, a little low-key. Definitely not at risk of falling. Low-key. Very low-key. That's a fun one. Okay.
I like how we turned that fun, even though it was supposed to be serious.
No, you gave a good, solid answer. If you're... And that makes sense, because you're looking down on the world you created, really. Like a...
Yeah.
God.
Like a god.
Fun question. You're hosting a dinner party with 3 characters from your series. Who do you invite, and what chaos ensues?
3 characters
Mm-hmm.
from my world. What chaos unfolds?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you and me, we're very specific about like the kind of people that we like to hang out with, and we like want a chill experience.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's take a look at some of these characters because it's a little different than having one locked in the chamber.
Right. Like, who'd you want to hang out with, basically?
All right. So we're bringing Vanathrin, right? Because if anybody forgot any ingredients, just pop in and pop out.
Oh, I like that.
So we got that taken care of.
Yep.
So Vanathrin's good. Let's see.
Useful.
Let's see. I feel like Azure is a good choice too because of the invisibility. If I don't want to be bothered with her, could you just disappear for a while?
Just go away.
I don't think that's an accurate one. Here, help me out here. Who would you invite?
I'm gonna give an answer that could be construed as creepy, and it probably is. Dirk and Kainani.
Because you just want to see what transpires?
I want to cuddle. I like the company of animals more than I like the company of people. So.
Could you guys snuggle me on the couch?
Right, exactly. Like, it doesn't have to be a weird thing. I just want to, like,
you
hang
cuddle
out.
your friends.
Yeah, I want to hang out, watch a movie, like, eat chips.
Is it weird that I'm petting you?
Right. Like, why? Like, I pet my dogs all the time. Why not pet Dirk, the werewolf, and Kayanani, the cat lady?
Yeah, not okay.
Why not?
Why not?
And let's invite,
I like JD. JD Rivers could be a fun character because she could, like, put, like, a lot of, like, decorative twists on things, like, on the dinner table.
I like that.
And...
excuse me.
You're squozed.
Let's throw a Rhinotaur in the mix just to create chaos.
We don't really have any, like, main character Rhinotaurs. Like, we have the ones from Quantum Quest, and they've been in their stories. Yeah, I think we need, like, a...
Nope, changing this completely. There's a correct answer for both of us. Our 3 doggies, because they are in Tellest.
That's true.
In the Christmas stories.
But you want them to be the talky versions.
The 3 talking doggies. That way I get my snuggles, and we get to have our little family here. And the chaos would be if they could talk, it would just be ball, treats, ball. She looked up.
Did you say?
She's busy, my favorite word.
Chewing on her feet.
It's cute.
Oh, you know what? Let's take a real quick beat because I feel like we're moving along quicker in this one. Let's real quick do our sponsor spot. And now, a word from our sponsors. The Old Aunt Mythopia is sure to be unlike anything you have ever read or experienced before. Author No Originality intends for it to be something that is interpreted differently by each person who flips through its pages. Is it a new age set of fables to rival Aesop? Perhaps it's just a series of Easter eggs for those who like gaming culture. Or maybe it is a recommendation on how to live one's life. While the book itself is full of possibilities and open to interpretation, one thing isn't: the passion with which No Originality built out the project. A team of great artists came together to make the Old Aunt Mythopia, and it shows. It takes a tremendous amount of talent to manage talent, and to bring a vision to life, and No Originality pulled it off wonderfully. Check out our promo for the Old Aunt Mythopia and Incomplete Trilogy on the Tellest website. Alrighty, we are back with serious question number 8. Maybe. Possibly. Where'd you get this bruise from?
I don't know. Probably left in the woodworking materials.
Yeah.
How do you approach writing villains or antagonists to ensure they are as compelling as your heroes?
So, I feel like recently we've come to like enjoy more shades of gray villains. I think that a villain is only compelling if they have a good reason for doing what they want. I mean, there are people in the real world who they their whole reason for being is just to stir up chaos. But I feel like that's usually like a break in their mindset, not a product of being a regular person.
Yeah. I think the most well-rounded villains are the ones who consider, like, you know, sacrifice, quote unquote, as a means to an end.
Right.
And, like, if the end makes sense, like, in some context, then, like, you can see the logic of it, just not the ethics or the morality of it.
Like, the subtext between Juro was his own thing, right? Like, he was the madman. Like, he was the crazy one in the original trilogy, where he was convinced from, you know, years and years and years of influence from a war-minded god to become an antagonist. But the people who he allied with were, the subtext there was that they were aligning with the necromancer because they had lost someone they loved and they were trying to bring her back.
Right.
And I feel like that's a much more, it's the Mr. Freeze of it all, right? Like, I'm going to do whatever I can to save my beloved, and if other people get hurt along the way, so be it. Yeah. Or like I understand that I'm eradicating an entire people right now, but it's because I'm trying to save my own people. Like, we can't both live here, you know, which is especially sad considering, like, we live in a world where that probably is not the case. Like,
it definitely, well, I mean,
it happens. What I'm saying is it doesn't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm trying to be vague enough so that it's apolitical, but, you know, in a fantasy world, you could say, like, realistically, this can't happen, you know, so, but that's what makes you a compelling villain, I think.
Right. Plus, if your villain, you know, even if they do bad things, if they have a
compelling enough reason.
Or not only a reason, just, like, a compelling enough personality. Like, a lot of villains are sociopaths, like, really, in literature.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a place for that in literature and stories and stuff like that.
Moriarty from Sherlock, like, he's such a, well, as portrayed by Andrew Scott, was, like, his villain portrayal was so good. Like, you loved to hate him.
Yeah. One of my favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy VI, and the villain of that story is like a mad jester, basically. You know, like, he's just, Kefka is simply just mad with power, and that plays really nice too. So it is kind of fun to see, and I don't think that we've really pursued that yet. Like, we've never, like, shown someone who, like, just the power itself has been, like, we've seen the good side of it, you know, because we've seen Bixby, and Bixby is basically that. But we've never seen, like, someone who wields ultimate power and it's just like, oh, well, this is going to be fun.
I'm going to mess stuff
for
up.
For all the wrong reasons.
Like the Master from Doctor Who.
Yeah. Or like what we've seen in the Thunderbolts with the guy who can basically just dust people.
Right. Well, we are talking about smart villains. We don't like dumb villains.
Right.
That's just no fun.
Right. Dumb villains can be fun, but they're usually not the BBEG. You know, they're the one note, like, I'm going to see them for a chapter kind of thing.
Right.
We had the Halloween story last year, Days of Shadow, had a very dumb, like, ogre type, you know, enemy at the end who did not realize that he was sacrificing himself.
Okay, so it was played in a fun club.
Oh no, not for this sucker. He did not realize that he was, you know, about to be eradicated by the shadow.
Oops.
Just too dumb to realize it, and sometimes that can be terrifying.
Fun question. Which character would have the most ridiculous catchphrase if your series were adapted into a Saturday morning cartoon?
The most, what catchphrase? Unusual?
Ridiculous.
Let's see. Bixby. It's
Oops,
dying time.
Oops, I died about it.
Do we have that image on here somewhere? I can't remember if we do.
What?
Well, here, I don't even need it there. Let me see if I can just bring it up here. The stream. I got too many things on my stream deck.
Guess I'll die. That would be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would have a catchphrase?
I do like "Oops, I'll die about it."
Oops, I'll die about it.
Let's see.
Stop the carriage. I know that wolf is a...
I mean, that's not a catchphrase. That's a one-time whoopsie that became infinitely popular. I don't know. I feel like not too many people like have a catchphrase. We'd have to find somebody who almost is a goofball in the first place.
Right.
And I feel like none of the main characters who I've had the art for have that energy.
I'm imagining like Vanathrin or Nerlindra doing like a Sailor Moon-esque thing every time they do the Whisper Wind thing.
I do like that. I just remembered the one character who does already have a catchphrase is Kelvin Dracos, aka Steel Tip, whose catchphrase is just "not again."
I like that
because he ends up like every time there's like a snare trap, he gets snared.
That's so funny.
just so everyone can see.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's Kelvin.
Oh my goodness. Alrighty. What role does destiny versus free will play in shaping your character's fates? That's a very interesting one, considering you have like a world in which gods are real. So like, how sturdy is the path of destiny? And
well, the nice thing about it is the gods themselves are mortal beings as well, essentially. You know, like they're
the power tier is god level.
Right. It's not that they are actual deities. The people believe that they are, but you know, we know in describing the world plenty of times, you know, it's not supposed to necessarily be a spoiler that that's what these people are.
It's like Omega level X-Men.
Right. I think that destiny is kind of, certainly people have free will. You know, like they're able to make their own choices. They're able to, the wheel ever turns. But to some extent, right, like the idea is like we're in this multiverse and like the events sort of keep happening.
Right.
So like, I want to say that like it's not like fate is a straight line. It's kind of like rippling water. It's like seeing a river from overhead. You know, like the end destination is kind of always going to be the same or same-ish. It's going to end in the same direction. And there might be wiggles and wobbles and stuff like that where the adventures kind of go off into their own directions and everything. But like basically the way that we've conceived Tellest in across the timelines and everything is, even though like there could be different cataclysms that led to the creation of Tellest, it all leads there somehow.
Right.
So I feel like destiny is maybe not the right way to put it, and fate is not like the right way to put it, but I don't know the word to say like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, because you do have elements of time travel in the series as well. Like they have that
right, and that's why one timeline
right,
you know, exists, is because we've got something that changed.
Right. I mean, I've got
and essentially like the main timeline that we've been in, you know, like the quote unquote legacy timeline, is something that's already happened hundreds of times before.
Right.
So like, is there fate? Like, again, it's not necessarily fate, it's a cycle.
So your characters know about as much as we mortal beings in this world know, like
kind of
whatever. Like we can make a plan. It could happen. It could not.
Kind of, yeah.
I like it.
Penultimate question.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Well, this is the last question.
Last fun question.
Yeah, last fun question. If you could rewrite one cliche fantasy trope in the silliest way possible, what would it be and how would it play out? What's a cliche fantasy trope? We've got the savior one, like the born hero. We've got
I'm trying to think.
save the world kind of things.
I do like the chosen one, right? But maybe it's not the chosen one as one expects. It's like, you are the chosen one. You're chosen to eat shit every day. And just like, you know, like, not literally, figuratively eat shit.
Right.
Like, you are going to suffer, and somehow that's going to save the world. Like, I feel like figuring out a way to do that in a fun way would be interesting. I guess to some extent, it's like it's like most satire movies and stuff, right?
Yeah. I googled cliche fantasy tropes, and The Chosen One is the first one. Second is damsel in distress, the wise old mentor, the Dark Lord as the primary antagonist.
Yeah, these are very
forbidden
old
love,
school.
magical artifacts, dragons, magic schools.
Yeah, I like the one that we chose.
I like that one too. I would say the wise old mentor. It would be very funny to play with, like, the concept of having someone present in the story as, like, you know, wise and guiding them, and, like, you find out the guy has, like, dementia and he doesn't know anything.
I like that.
It's like, what do you mean? You told me where to go.
Well, and that's basically the two. Well, here we got another picture for you.
I love it.
That I feel like another thing that would be fun is like a guy who's masquerading as like a wizard, but like doesn't have any abilities.
He doesn't know anything.
He's like, I need money. This person needs a mentor. I know just enough about how to fake this stuff, like a magician instead of a wizard.
I like that.
That would be a fun little story to write.
I feel like we can have fun with that for
April Fools.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
I mean, it's basically the elements of that story with the picture that we just put up, plus Edmund and Cassandra.
I like it. I feel like we could do that pretty well. And last serious question. If readers could take one lesson or message from your series, what would you want it to be?
I think throughout the time that we've been writing the Tellest series, the kind of the thing that the beat that hammers over and over and over again is that your found family is possibly even more important than the family you're born with.
Right. Because you choose your found family.
Yeah. I think that I would just recommend that everybody keep looking for your found family if you haven't found them yet. If you have found them, make sure that you keep them safe, you protect them, you know, that you love them, you let them know that you care about them, because so often we take for granted those kind of things, and I think that that's a beautiful thing to have and to appreciate.
Aww. If I wasn't already married, I'd marry you.
Yay. What do you think, Luna? What's your idea?
What do you think, Luna?
What you think?
What you think? We're asking for you. I know we put you on the spot, but you're used to being famous. Do you want to speak about it?
You want to speak? Can you speak?
Speak.
she fuffed and said no. That is going to wrap us up for tonight. That was I feel like the last one went like an hour. Yeah. So this was a nice breezy one, especially considering you don't feel so good.
My voice is going. Yep. Unfortunately.
We didn't get a lot of sleep last night either because of the
Academy Awards. I'll just put this on the record. Every year I've gone to my grandparents' house to watch the Academy Awards. It's just our thing. Like, dress up in like sparkly pajamas and eat grapes and cheese and pretend to be fancy. They are now 86 and 89 years old, and it's just very, like, I'm very happy to be able to carry on that tradition still.
So real families are important too.
Yeah. Well, I like them. They're good.
All right, let's wrap up the show. So, folks, on the screen right now, you should be able to see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start. It'll bring you to all the other projects and places that we are out in the internet. We've got 3 places that you can find our maps out there on the internet as well. Patreon.com/Tellest is the best place to start with because you can get all of our maps at the cheapest price. We have 182 items or something like that up there now, plus like I want to say probably around like 700 variants at this point. Tellest.etsy.com is where you can find the physical versions of our maps, but give it a little bit. There's still fulfillment problems with our vendor. Battlemapfantasy.com is where you can get all of our maps a la carte on DriveThruRPG. We definitely have 182 items on there. I just looked at that, but that's including bundles and things like that as well. We've got 2 TikTok channels that you should check out. At Weird Witch Wands is where you can find all of Rhianna's handcrafted goodies and stuff like that. We've also got Tales of Tellest, our third 1 million view video. Just we just got that to reach that on the counter. That was Luna, who
really likes tater tots. That was the whole context.
That's the context.
Really, really loves tater tots.
So go check those out. And then we've got two other places for you to look at. YouTube.com/@worldofTellest is where you can find all of these videos. We post 3 of them a week. We're on a little bit of a delay, but the nice thing is you'll always be able to find them there. Twitch, they will knock us off the platform after however many days. But Twitch is also the only place that you can see us live, so you should definitely be sure to come check us out here, twitch.tv/thattellestguy, and give us a chat. Mass up those quest coins because we're coming back with that very soon.
I've got so many.
How many do you have?
I'm gonna find out right now. Oh no, hang on.
Very compelling.
33,000.
Woohoo! All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for tonight. We will be back tomorrow. Well, I'll be back tomorrow with map making. But until then, we'll miss you.